Former Governor Gary Johnson joins us in the Newsplex today to talk about his push, and along with with a bigger group's push, I should say, against the legalization of certain drugs. Let's talk about that. I mean, obviously, when you were governor, it was well known that you supported the legalization of marijuana.
Right.
The group, the Law Enforcement Against Prohibition, is here having their annual conference, which you're a part of, talking about more drugs. Talk about this. What is the stance on this?
Well, again, this is Law Enforcement Against Prohibition. 15,000 members, which is a significant number, obviously, and really first-hand knowledge that prohibition causes more problems than drug use itself. That's something that I've always maintained. Is that that if you really look at the issue, I think that 90% of the drug problem is prohibition-related, not use-related. And that's not to discount the problems with use, but that ought to be the focus.
How do you see this happening, though? I mean, if there is regulation, would it be the government regulating, or do you not see a bigger mess coming from that? Or?
No, I think it would be similar to alcohol. Again, at one time, alcohol was illegal in this country. It was illegal to sell alcohol in this country. It didn't work. People would be better off if they didn't drink. My message when it comes to drugs is don't do drugs. But smoking marijuana, confines of your own home, doing no harm to anyone arguably other than yourself, should that be criminal? No. I do not think that that should be criminal. And when you consider that half of law enforcement, half the courts, and half the prisons, everything that we spend in all those categories is drug-related, I think that we could do a lot better. If you or I have our identity stolen today and we go down to the police station and want that taken care of, you know what? It's not going to get taken care of, because really what law enforcement has gotten really good at is catching people selling small amounts of drugs.
Some would say you're talking apples and oranges, alcohol, that drugs have a more drastic effect, a more negative effect. What would you say to that?
Well, I would say when it comes to marijuana that's absolutely not the case. I think that marijuana is actually safer than alcohol. Denver, the city of Denver, voted to decriminalize marijuana on the basis of marijuana being safer than alcohol. And I think everyone that's experienced, and I'm not advocating the use of either one.
Drugs? Let's talk heavier drugs.
Well, by heavier drugs, the real boogeyman drug is methamphetamine. And methamphetamine is probably the best example of a prohibition drug that you can think of right now. I met with judges in Portland, Oregon, and I didn't know how this meeting was going to go, but the judges came to the meeting, and what they had to say was, Governor Johnson, we're here to agree with you completely with what you're saying. We want, though, to tell you some stories that maybe you can relate to others, that they might understand the drug problem a little bit better. They said that methamphetamine was really the boogeyman drug, that people did methamphetamine, they did bad things, but they said, but this is the best example of a prohibition drug, because it's easy, it's cheap, it's easy to make, it disparagingly falls on the poor. And they said, we're not advocating the following, they said, but if cocaine were legal, these people would have used cocaine and there wouldn't be near the problems that exist now with methamphetamine. And again, what we need to know is that cocaine, for example, puts holes in your heart. It's dangerous. It's dangerous.
Okay, we could obviously talk about this all day, but it's an ongoing battle. Thank you very much for joining us. I appreciate it.